Welcome to Singapore. So I'm really stoked. I just reached 2,100 subs. I mean, my channel sat there for a long time, and I didn't. After I uploaded a bunch of MPO videos to it, I kind of let it sit there for a while. So now I'm putting all my effort in this channel. Just had a great tour of Australia, and I got back yesterday. I'm just gonna wait a little while and see if more people show up and or want to ask questions or talk about anything. Ask away, sir. Javier, you can ask any questions that you have. Anybody wants to talk about something, you can kick it off. We'll see who else shows up. Okay, the question is, how do you balance between the intonation resonance of notes? For example, G is a troublesome note. G in the staff or G at the top of the staff? I have a tip for you if you want to like really take the easy way. If you take a harmon mute and you take the stem out of the harmon mute and you bend the note around when the mute really starts to buzz, that's where the center of the pitch is. If you're high on the pitch, the harmon mute won't resonate the way that it's supposed to. So sometimes I use a harmon mute, play scales on that without the stem. That's the most important part. Take the stem out. And high there is also correct. Yeah, lip bending, note bending is also a great way to find the center of the pitch. But when you bend notes, you have to be sure to not bend them by reducing your airspeed. You have to bend them by manipulating the chops, specifically like the lower lip, like letting the lower lip kind of fall into the mouthpiece, so to speak, and to bend in half steps and even whole steps if you can. But at the root of everything is proper breathing and support. So, I mean, like it's hard to diagnose these kinds of things. So if you're sure that you're breathing correctly and supporting correctly, then I would say lip bends and maybe try this harmon mute thing. John says also helps to let up on how much engagement the abdominal muscles, too much compression. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that, John. It's gold. Absolutely agree. Too much engagement will cause problems. With articulation, everything range. John's a professional trumpet player in the U.S. and he's given some really good advice here too. So start with what he says. I would say start with that. Make sure that you're not, shoving your gut through the horn or like keeping too much tension in your abs when you play. Great stuff. 6 people in the room. Welcome. Welcome to Dante Speak. Since I'm just, I want to show off my new BR Yamaha trumpet since it's just sitting right here next to me. We can do a little bit of a show and tell since I have like so many of my instruments in my apartment right now. I have 3 cases. Okay, so let's start with this one. I think this is the trumpet I just took on tour. Yes, that's my brand new Yamaha Chicago BR trumpet that I played on this last tour, and it was just amazing. I mean, I'm so blown away by this horn. I don't understand how it can sound as good as it does. Because actually, let's talk about that for a second. Like the early Mount Vernon Bach trumpets, they had a nickel barrel at the top of the valve section here, and then the bottom part's brass. And they also use like the wide bracings, or whatever you want to call them, the big bracings that they had on the bell and stuff. And this brace here in the first valve side, I think also the Mount Vernon's had, but the top tube was also the same as the bottom. And the saddle hook had a bar that extended to the end of the slide. Anyway, Bach had the flat bead in the bell like this does, and it had a steel wire in it. Well, Bach actually like tried to save money by changing out like all the stuff. They made the valve section out of all brass, and then they changed out the metal valve guides with nylon, and then they put a brass wire in the bell bead instead of steel because the brass was cheaper. And then they didn't flatten it out so much. They made all these small changes to the Bach trumpets during that dark period And the end result was everyone went to Yamaha because Bob Malone made a great living improving basically not very good instruments coming out of the Bach factory. He made a lot of money, basically disassembling them and reassembling them, cutting the slides down, all that stuff, and then putting his lead pipe and slide on it. And we went to work for Yamaha, and I mean the stuff they're coming out with is amazing. And this is an all brass trumpet. It's exactly like my. I'll show you my other Chicago. They look identical. Okay, the BR is on the bottom and the other one's on the top. Just the saddle hook on the first slide is a little bit different on the BR. That's the only physical difference, like looking at these two horns. And I mean, they play like the normal Chicago is amazing, but this BR one, it's just got like something in the sound. It's just unbelievable. This is my New York B flat, third gen. I barely play B flat trumpet. I never play B flat trumpet, but when I do, this is a really fun trumpet to play. And then this is my YM Bell C trumpet, which I'm considering selling because I feel like the Chicago just projects better in the orchestra for the hall that we play in. And then this is my new 4-valve E flat. And then I have my schlub horn here as usual. This is my home practice trumpet. And then I got one other trumpet here that I really love. That I'm so glad that I found this trumpet. That's this trumpet here. From a guy that plays in the Sun Symphony in Vietnam, studied in Germany. He decided he wanted to upgrade to the one that has the Velkrantz. So he let me play this, asked me if I wanted to buy it, and it's like brand new condition. And it's, for me, it's like the best rotary valve instrument I've ever owned. And I'm never going to get rid of this one. So we're doing the Hindemith piece for brass, two harps, and piano next week. So I'm gonna play this on that. Yeah, and then I got like another 10 or 15 instruments at school. But the Yamaha stuff is just killing it, man. I'm not interested in playing any other piston trumpets. It would take a lot for me to change. Yeah, exactly, John. Like when you play this BR model Yamaha, it's just alive. I mean, you just have to think about what you want to do and it just comes out. The sound is just jumping to the back of the hall. My rotary trumpet is made by Rico Kuhn. He's in Austria, I'm pretty sure. Hey, John, I'm from Singapore. Do I take private lessons? Yeah, I mean, I can come in. We can set up something. I can come and listen to you. I'm pretty busy with the orchestra and the conservatory, but I'm happy to listen to you play sometimes. So why don't you? I'll put my email address here, and you can drop me an email, and we'll set something up. I just put my email in the chat, Grizzly. So yeah, just drop me a line. We'll set something up. The other thing that's like tough about living in Asia is like I do have some stuff I really want to sell, like a ton of mouthpieces. I want to sell off because I can't really play on a brass mouthpiece anymore. I'm gonna pick up a few of them to have rhodium plated. Greg Black will plate them in rhodium. My friend said he's having pretty good luck with that with the metal allergy, so I'm gonna try that. What mouthpieces am I using? That's a good question. I can share that with you. Let me grab them. Okay, so since I'm having a metal allergy, I got turned on to these uh, Giddings mouthpieces. Let me get rid of the banner here. And these are stainless steel. I have two of these. They're freakishly expensive and they look weird. I don't really like the blank shape that they use. But this is stainless steel. This is the Dave Hickman model. They call it the big boy or something like that. It's supposed to be like a 1B Bach. And the thing, I mean, it makes a great sound, but I feel that the metal is too hard and it doesn't like the softs. When you play soft, the sound still keeps that kind of high frequency in the sound doesn't warm up in the softs. So playing soft on it's a little bit more scary than a traditional brass silver plated mouthpiece. And the other thing that I'm finding really hard to get used to is how slippery it is. It's really slippery, the stainless steel. It's polished and it's super. I mean, it feels nice, but it's sliding all over the place, and I need grip when I play. I like to have some grip. So I have two of these, and then I'll show you my acrylic mouthpieces. Okay, well, here's one of my acrylic mouthpieces. This is a Pickett Brass 1C. I don't know if, yeah, 1C, 24 throat, and a zero backbore. That's a symphonic backbore. It's supposed to be similar to a 24 Bach backbore. And I mean, Pickett Brass makes a great mouthpiece. I mean, I have the metal version of the 1C and the 1BC, and I love the way the mouthpiece plays and how it feels and where the high point in the rim is. All that stuff's really nice. It's very well engineered mouthpiece with a really great ringing sound to it. But in the plastic version, it loses a lot. You know what I mean? It's not projecting. The sound is not projecting. And Jeff Kurnow, my friend in the Philadelphia Orchestra, he's having the same issues. So he just had his mouthpieces plated in rhodium, and he said he's so far um, doing really well with it. He said he hadn't played on a metal mouthpiece in 5 years, and he's really excited about the rhodium stuff. So I'm gonna take some of my mouthpieces, like the tops that I have, these Pickett Brass tops. I'm gonna send to Greg and have them rhodium plated, and hopefully I'll have similar success with it that Jeff did. But it's a really weird thing, guys. I mean, like you're playing a job, everything's fine, you don't have to really think about anything, and then all of a sudden, psh, it's like you can't play anything. Have you tried clear nail polish? Yes, I tried before I left for tour when I picked up that BRC trumpet. I switched back to my 1B mouthpiece. It's a brand new, I have two 1B mouthpieces. They're both stock, they're not modified at all. One's gold plated, it's really old, and I had a reaction to that. So I don't play that one anymore, but I bought a brand new one and I put clear nail polish on it. And for the first two concerts of the tour, I felt great. And the last concert, like halfway through the program, I started getting that burn leathery feeling in the lips and lack of response and just stupid shit that just never happens. And it's just really frustrating. Yeah, so the nail polish thing's not going to work. I'm either stuck on stainless steel and acrylic, or I'm going to try this rhodium. It's only like $100 or $150 per mouthpiece to have them played in rhodium, so I'm going to give it a shot. What mouthpiece size do you usually use? I oscillate between a 1C and a 1B. I never go any bigger or smaller really than that. I used to play a 1 1/4 C for a long time with a 24 throat, 24 backbore. And then I kind of got into the 1C thing, and I've stuck with 1C. I started on a stock 1C. Now I use a 24 throat, 24 backbore, just standard stuff. But the 1B I really love, the stock 1B with no throat or backbore modification. I think they come stock with a 7 backbore. The 1B, the only thing that I don't like about it is like I got my tuning slide all the way in, which is not good. Like trumpets aren't designed to be played with a slide all the way in. I'm like just barely in tune with this with my tuning slide all the way in, and it's just not fun. Hey Diego, greetings from Florida, Phil. Oh my God. Hey Diego, greetings from Florida, Phil. Oh my God. If I'm your idol, then you aim really low, man. So thank you. I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment, man. How's everything in Florida? How's everything with the Florida Phil? How long you been in the orchestra there? Can you share more about your symptoms on metal allergy? Yes. Um, Basically for me, like this has been going on like and escalating for like a couple of years. Like and because so for like the whole first year, I just thought it was me. I thought I was doing something wrong behind the horn. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I took the blame for it. But then I started to keep track of what was happening and when, the circumstances surrounding it. And then I talked to Jeff Kurnow in the Philadelphia Orchestra, and Jeff went through the same thing I'm going through, like severe metal allergy, not just allergic to nickel, like allergic to everything. And he had to get completely off brass mouthpieces. He had Warburton mouthpieces, like a resin top on them. I don't know if he tried Pickett. He's had his mouthpieces plated by some guy that makes parts for spaceships that go to the moon and shit like that. Like he was pretty adventurous about trying to solve the problem. And you know, I just went to Pickett because I saw Jens Lindsman was playing the Pickett brass nylon stuff. A few other people are playing it. Sounds good to me, and it does sound good. I mean, it really does sound good, and it plays really good. But the problem is for the orchestra application, I really don't feel like a nylon mouthpiece is going to project the way it needs to, unless you're really shoving everything through the horn, which you don't want to do, right? Like that's tiring. And that happened to me a couple of times playing the nylon mouthpiece um, in the orchestra. We did like Don Juan or something. And by the end, I played that piece many times. And by the end on the nylon mouthpiece, I felt completely fried. And then I listen to the recording, I can't even hear myself. In my opinion, the nylon mouthpiece is not an efficient piece of kit for someone playing principal trumpet or trumpet at all in an orchestra. It doesn't project. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I mean, if it's chamber music or if I'm just playing etudes or even solos in front of an orchestra, I think it'd be fine. But when you're playing next to the trombone section, you're playing like the planets and stuff like that. It just doesn't work on nylons. Just doesn't. And that's the same exact conclusion that Jeff came up to. Also, he's just like, a lot of work and not much end result. Yeah, the symptoms are your lips just feel like swollen and burn. It just feels like somebody took like a hot iron and just pushed it onto your chops for like 2 seconds, and it's just sizzling, and it feels like it's made out of leather. It will not vibrate below fortissimo. It just will not. You have no control, and you have no soft. There's no soft at all. I mean, when I was having a reaction, I actually had to call in sick for Midsummer's Night Dream, which is like that's usually like almost a week off for the trumpets, right? There's nothing really challenging in that, except a few soft things. But we get to the few soft things, and they weren't coming out like at all, like zero. So yeah, it's not a good feeling. It takes like anywhere from like 3 to 5 days for the sensation to go away, that burning chapped feeling on the lips to go away. Um, and I think that like if I keep trying to, if I don't like find a solution to this, and I just keep going back to brass mouthpiece, I'm headed for an injury. You know what I mean? Because when you're in a concert situation and you start to go through something like that, you just have to do whatever it takes to get the note out, and that's not good. I mean, that's just screaming injury. Not sure about the laws on natural hemp in Singapore, but Matt Patel made this stuff called MF Lip Grip. Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, John, I think hemp might be a tough sell here in Singapore. No matter how good natured or good intentions are behind it, I think it might be hard to import something like that here. I mean, they'll hang you in this country if they catch you with a joint. So, but yeah, I'll check that out if I'm in the States or somewhere outside of Singapore. Hey Ben, how are you, man? Good to see you too, brother. Hope all is well. 4 years as principal here. Weather is amazing. Yeah, I'm sure. You've been following my career since I was in Paramount Brass. Wow. You'd love to take, dude. Wow. I mean, thank you so much. I'd love to hear you anytime, man. Like I put my email in the thread here. If you want to send me an email, we can set something up online. I'd love to hear you play. And wow, I'm super flattered that you've been following me that long. Appreciate it, Diego. There's no THC in it. Well, it might work. I'll look into it, John. I'll see if I can get it in here. Or I'll tell you what, I'll talk to the local music store and see if they can order it in. That way, if it's illegal, they get in trouble and not me. I'll try doing that, man. Guys, I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, I picked up I think like 120 subscribers in the past month just from like putting some energy into the channel. And I mean, I did have something kind of cool to vlog about. Like the tour to Australia was really fun, but my normal day-to-day life in Singapore, I don't want to say it's boring, but it's pretty predictable, and it's not. it's not really content that I can be posting like my average day in Singapore. I could do one day of it and then every other day is pretty much exactly the same. The weather's the same here every day. There's no crime. It's like Disneyland here. It's not like really vlog worthy like my daily life here. And I also don't want to make just random like tutorial videos about trumpet playing because I see a lot of them out there already and they have no views. And I can see people put a lot of effort into them. Ryan Beach has an amazing channel for anybody that wants technical advice about trumpet. It's super well produced and it's very informative. He's a great player. But it's like, that's not my niche. I'm happy to produce that content on request, but I just like want to hang out and talk about others, talk about stuff live. I don't want to make prepackaged stuff. I want to engage live with people. Really enjoyed the multi-track tutorials. How cool, man. Glad you liked it. It's pretty nerdy stuff, but like it's really fun to make it. I was nowhere near a church. If I walked into a church, it would probably crumble and fall down. But like it was really fun to make that video and just with consumer grade electronics like computers and consumer grade cameras and stuff, you can in really good software. I mean, you can turn some amazing fantasies into reality. It's cool. Glad you liked it, man. Greetings from Italy. Cool. What do you think about the European orchestral trumpet player? I think they're badass. I think they're badass. There's so much unbelievable talent out there. I'm just so grateful to have a job right now. I'm serious. Like I just found this Korean trumpet player. Let me see if I can find this actually. I want to share this link with you guys if I can find it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I found it. Cool. Now I have to get back to StreamYard. Hold on. All right, there you guys are. Okay. Check this out. This guy is like ridiculous. I just posted this link of this Korean trumpet player. He looks like he's like 19 or 20 years old, playing the entrada on rotary C trumpet, and just like beginning to end, everything just goes just the way he wants it to. It's like no mistakes, like zero, and like making good music. There's so much good trumpet playing, great trumpet playing out there that I'm just like, I feel really lucky to still be in the game. I'd love to see content on motorcycles. Okay, definitely can produce that, man. I almost did that today. Actually, I had everything ready to go, and then something else came up. I was gonna ride into town because I was gonna go pick up my stainless steel mouthpiece from the hall and see if I can make it work again. But yeah, I can do some bike stuff. I got cameras all over the bike too, so I can turn out some good stuff. I'll definitely get on that. So 9 people in the room. It's 9:42. I think I'm probably going to cut it off at 10, guys, because I got to teach early in the morning tomorrow. So anything you want to ask, you can just ask. Yeah, you know this guy, John. I was freaked out by him. How old is he? What do you know about this guy? There's like no information on his channel. He sounds amazing. He's got a YouTube video of him just knocking down like 5 excerpts flawlessly, like with no edits. So there's no edits at all in the video. It's scary. What am I riding these days? I'm riding a 2016 BMW GSA 1200. It's the ultimate motorcycle, man. I'm telling you, it's the closest to flying you can ever come without leaving the ground. He's 26. Yeah, that's makes me sick, dude. Hey, John, do you take private lessons? How much would I be charging? Just shoot me an email. Like, I'll put my email again in the chat here. Shoot me an email and let's talk about it. He's in the Hamburg Philharmonic Orchestra. Wow. You guys see my email in the chat if you ever want to write to me? That's how you find me. Next week we're doing a like a concert that's kind of split half brass, half strings. So on the first half we're doing the Dukas fanfare and a few other arrangements that our music director did, and we're also doing the Hindemith concerto for piano, 2 harps, and brass. And then we had a little bit of time off after that, and then Shostakovich 5. And then we're going to finish the season with Mahler 2. That's in May. And we got some other good programs in between. So just hired Hanalentu as our music director here, which is pretty epic. He'll be starting 26, 27. And yeah, the orchestra's never sounded better. our concerts in Australia were just really inspiring. Like the level was just amazing. Talking about C trumpets, Bach or Yamaha, why? It's a good question, man. Like I know these are strange times to even be thinking about this kind of stuff because like, Esteban, who's a friend, like an amazing player, he can play like everything on a mouthpiece. He doesn't even need a trumpet, you know what I mean? And he's now a Bach artist, and it's just confusing times, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, like this guy's gonna sound amazing on any trumpet. In my experience and the experience of many of my friends in the industry, in the Boston Symphony and um, in New York and Philadelphia Orchestra, they all switched to Yamaha, and the Boston brass guys are all playing Yamaha. I mean, there's a reason for it. It's like I play Yamaha because it's just easier to get the end result that I want. Like the sound isn't. I don't find the sound any less interesting than a box sound. I mean, and when I say that, you got to understand it's like from behind the horn, the perception of your sound is, it might feel very different between the Bach and the Yamaha behind the horn. I mean, it has for me when I played them back to back. It's definitely been like, wow, that sounds different. But like people out in the hall listening to it, they always they either can't tell the difference or they pick the Yamaha. And they usually pick the Yamaha because it's better in tune, or you sound more comfortable playing it, or you know what I mean? It's always something like that. Um, and like I've been on the artist roster with Yamaha for a few years, and they're just good to me. They support me. You know what I mean? Like I was on the Bach roster for a while, for a long time actually, like 10 years. And I wasn't getting any support, and I wasn't really in on things because I wasn't in one of the big five US orchestras and stuff like that. So it's like I was just kind of out here on my own. And I'm not shit talking Bach. That's just how it worked out. And like here, I'm close to Yamaha in Japan, and the Yamaha presence here in Singapore is very strong, and they look after me, and I do classes, and we'll get trumpet class coming up here, and it's just good. And they send instruments. You can actually get stock, you know what I mean? Like I remember waiting for instruments all the time out here in Asia. And with Yamaha, it's like, the longest I've had to wait for an instrument is, a couple of weeks. Yamaha, in my opinion, is just better. It's better in tune. It's easier to play. It's easier to play. That's number one. It's easier to play. The sound is equally as good or better than a Bach. Sorry, it is. Because it's easy to play. It's easier for you to put more resources into the sound you want to make. You don't have to worry about getting the instrument to play so much. But I understand why people are confused what kind of trumpet they're going to get, because you got all these different players endorsing different things, and just be careful. Stay open-minded and play what sounds good. I hope that helps. How do you prepare yourself mentally for a major solo, say a Mahler 5? Say you have physical stuff down, but how do you get focused? Do you have a mental game? Yeah, my mental game is repetition, like doing things. If I have to play, like for instance, Mahler 5, if I had to play Mahler 5, which is not nearly as scary as it used to be. I mean, my first 3 or 4 Mahler 5s were very, wow, out of body experiences. But now that I'm older, I still take it super seriously, and I notice when it comes up on a schedule. But I know the parts that are easy, for me, and I know the parts that are really difficult. So I don't bother with the stuff that I know I can play. I only focus on the things that are difficult, and like that would be the opening, right? Like the opening is. I haven't really met anybody that doesn't think that opening isn't difficult. So I will perform the opening under way worse circumstances than I would ever be in a live performance. Without playing a note first, get up in the middle of the night, do jumping jacks, run as fast as I can, and then see if I can calm myself down. Those are technical things that I do, but probably the thing that's benefit like given me the most benefit is to just be mindful, like having mindful practice in my life. It's like paying off over the past 10 years, paying off huge, huge dividends, like just trying to stay where I am and not think about the future or the past, like build my confidence in the practice room through repetition and the drills that I do, and then trust in the power of I can and try to stay in that actual moment where I'm, because that's where we are, you know, and worrying about the future has never changed the outcome. The only guy I haven't heard miss a note yet is Sergei Nakarakov. So that's like the worst thing that can happen. You're not going to like sew up a sponge inside somebody after you perform surgery, or or kill somebody on your operating table. We're musicians, it's try to not you know put so much ridiculous pressure on ourselves, and allow the humanity in, staying in the now, the power of now. This is a great book, and it's a book I've reread a couple times, and it's transformative. It's had the biggest impact on not only my playing, but my personal life and everything else. Hope that helps. How do I manage my bad days on trumpet? Any advice? Um, Forgiveness. I mean, it's a tough, I mean, you're playing a principal trumpet job just like me. So yeah, like when we're in the chair and stuff doesn't feel good, like we still have to make shit happen. So my goal is no matter how bad I feel, I want to be the only one that knows I'm struggling. I never want to have a bad day that's so bad that other people start lighthousing, you know what I mean? When they turn around to like see who it is playing, you know what I mean? Lighthousing is not good. The way I manage it is to just, when I get into these situations, which is, thank God, not very often these days, but like, you just have to do whatever you got to do. If it means playing a different mouthpiece, and you play it. If it means um, pressing a little bit harder than than usual, then you do that. Like you got to play the gig, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to get in trouble artistically, but as soon as you get off stage, then you have to really go into the practice room and try to find the black box, and you want to discover like what went wrong, or what in your playing is like being neglected to the point where it's putting you in this position, and be like take a forensic approach to it, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's no fun having the only instrument in the orchestra that points straight out, and then having a bad day. There's nothing worse than that. But all we can do is try to, no matter how bad it feels, good form behind the horn. And even if it's stuff's not coming out the way that we want it to, is to really prioritize that good form behind the horn. And then once you get out of that performance situation, you got to go deep. Hope that helps. And we can certainly talk about that more, dude. I want to do a live like this every 100 subscribers. And in the future, I'll be able to hang out longer. But tonight, I really have to. I can do like another 5 minutes tonight. And then I really got to crash because I'm still a little bit like hurting from that trip. The more sleep I get tonight, the more my students will like me tomorrow. Again, guys, I super appreciate you. I'll do some more motorcycle stuff. I'll make some videos about this mouthpiece hell that I'm going through right now, this metal allergy shit hell that I'm going through that I can't wait to get on the other side of. I'll make some content, some fun stuff. I'll try to keep it fun and light. I don't think I'll be doing any more reaction videos. That one I did about Paul Mays is just like, I'm still getting comments about that. People that don't understand my sense of humor clearly. But thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Any last questions? Let me see. I got one more comment here. I experienced something similar regarding allergy, the mouthpiece, dermatologist explained. Yeah, skin changes with pH and diet. Absolutely it does. Yeah. Absolutely it does. Guys, shish it. That's what they say in China. Shish it. Or hajimemashite. Nice to meet you in Japanese. Or arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. I'll do another live stream soon. Anybody wants to get in touch with me, I put my email here in the chat. Please write to me. I'll totally get back to you, and we can set something up online, hang out. I'd be thrilled to hear you. No worries. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to make it a regular thing. Every 100 subscribers, I'll go live. I'll go live for longer next time. I got to sleep tonight, guys. Awesome, Diego. Great to read that, mate. Thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for coming to the stream. Looking forward to hearing Shostakovich's 5. Yes. Looking forward to playing it for you guys. My pleasure, Javier. Okay, guys, all the best. Have a great night. Thanks again for everything, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got him picking up the pieces. Better me, you really